Perfection kills progress. And it's been on my mind a lot recently. I've been thinking about the idea of perfection because I started making these YouTube videos and started writing more recently and sort of leaning into this kind of creative, these kind of creative pursuits, right? The reason why I haven't done it yet, really leaning into doing it, I've realized is because I've been worried about creating something really good or perfect, making sure that if I upload a video, it's really perfect, or making sure if I write something like a short story or a song or, anything creative, that it's going to be cringy because it's going to go out, and who am I to really take up other people's time, and who am I to, to be putting more noise out in the ether because I'm just a guy or whatever. What I've come back to is that, well, it brings me joy, and so I shouldn't deny myself that joy because of being worried about what other people think. Okay, so that was kind of the initial start. And I've started on my Instagram and even on YouTube, I've started sort of hip firing content at random and not really making sure it's perfect at all, but just sort of having an idea, sitting down and slamming it out. I mean, kind of like this. I'm on a walk, and my ever-loving, ever-patient dog is putting up with my millennial ass sitting here talking to my iPhone with my AirPods in on a beautiful nature trail because I'm like, this is a good idea for a video. So here we are. So I have a couple things to say to myself, sort of to make a note, I think, if I could hear this a few years ago. Who do you think you are that every piece of your creative content is going to be some magnum opus of your existence? And why is it such a big deal? Why do you feel like you have to have some ultra polished, ultra amazing thing to put out into the world? Otherwise, it's not worthy, or you're not worthy, or you're just taking up people's time. You're not the one to be the judge of that. Okay, so just remember that, Seth, from 5 years ago or from 3 years ago. Secondly, why are you comparing your work or your idea of creative efforts and creative energy? Why are you comparing that to like Beethoven or Mozart when you haven't played guitar in years? I'm not even gonna pick up my guitar, or I'm not even gonna pick up the camera and try for a YouTube video because it's not gonna be some incredible creative work. So why would I ever think that that's the case? Whenever I bet you that when Beethoven first sat down at a piano or whatever his instrument of choice was, I bet you he didn't just shit out the Fifth Symphony first go. Probably had many years of subpar work before he even came up with anything that resembled Beethoven's Fifth. But he still started, and he still practiced, and he still tried. I recently learned what the Venus de Milo was. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. Like that marble statue of the sort of topless and armless woman. She's kind of going like this. It's like what you'd see at like Olive Garden whenever you walk in. There's probably a lot of people that regard that very highly as this sort of masterpiece, right? And for me, it does nothing at all. What if that original artist had asked for my opinion while sculpting it? I'm not even really into sculptures. And that would have been a really bad thing because then that wouldn't have ever even been made. And apparently it's a very significant piece of art. I have this gut feeling that I should create more. And it just feels like the right thing to do. And it's definitely not perfect. So if I was worried about this being perfect, I wouldn't even have my phone out at all. I think that the idea of perfection is like this concoction of fear and anxiety of what I think other people might think is perfect anyway, and doesn't actually have a basis in reality. So perfection ends up being an excuse to just not create because it's kind of scary to create. And so I think that the natural human fear response, it's really easy to say, oh, I just want it to be perfect, so I'm not going to do anything at all. And then you end up like me, where you had a lot of ideas when you were 23 and 24 years old, and now you're 31 and you haven't done any of those things because you've been driven by fear instead of driven by fun or love or just driven by life. To me, at 23 years old, just remember, perfection kills progress. It's far more important to create than it is to be worried about what people think about what you're creating.